I just saw one.
Look for the movement, you see them ducking under the rock.
Tonight is the culmination of 6 years planning with Winton wetlands. We've come here tonight to gather up some growling grass frogs, which are going to be transported over to Winton tonight to form part of their captive breeding program.
It's a large-scale ecological restoration project in northeast Victoria between Bendigo and Growling. Yeah, we're basically looking to restore an 8,700 hectare area that was formerly known as Lake McCowan, but back to its former glory days.
Growling grass frogs are a threatened species which were found here. Well, we confirmed that they were here in 2008, and since then we've been keeping an eye on them, and every year we assess them during their breeding season.
You know, we had this idea that growling grass frogs might do very well at Winton through a researcher who knows a fair bit about growlers, Dr. Jeff Hurd, and he suggested that Bendigo, or the water treatment plant here at Colyburn, would be the closest source for us, and that's kind of where the relationship started. And luckily for us, you know, Colyburn had been monitoring their population of frogs for some years before, so that was really, really helpful for us too.
So Task Force Growler is the movement that sits behind the translocation of the growling grass frogs. So it's about bringing community, citizen science and the public into this brilliant recovery of a species that we think is pretty cool, but it's got bigger implications. So it's about wetland restoration and ecology, understanding how that works, learning more about frogs and wetlands, but of course the token species growling grass frogs and their reintroduction into Winton wetlands.
So you want to try and minimise the amount of time they're kept for transport, so we're going to be moving them overnight. The idea is that we literally be catching them by hand. We'll then look at their general health, and we'll be transporting them in just their individual plastic transport containers that have been sterilised, that sit in climate-controlled eskies, and those eskies sit on our back seats in climate-controlled cars, and we'll be checking them every half an hour to an hour on our way back to make sure they're cosy and happy. We've got a team waiting at the other end at Winton, a couple of hours down the road, to help us unloading into their quarantine lab there at Winton.
The fact that we have a population of growlers here, it's significant because it demonstrates that a utility and nature can coexist. I just think it's a great example of our ability to protect and enhance biodiversity while we do what we need to do.